Hi, and welcome to another edition of In the Spotlight with Mayor Jeffrey Mims. And today I have another special guest. Of course, all my guests are special. All right, so Ms. Sybil Martin, how you doing?
Hi, how are you? I'm great.
I'm good. So your program, the things that you work with, there's so much energy, love, passion that you put into the Norma J. Ross Memorial. Finish the rest of that for me.
Foundation.
Okay, got everything with foundation. All right, good. We got that. What does that work entail?
That work entails a whole lot, quite honestly. And I say a whole lot because we are honoring the legacy of Mrs. Norma J. Ross, who was a great community leader, great community advocate, and from my understanding and the things that I've learned about her, she helped any and everywhere.
Yep.
So in the work of trying to honor her legacy, it's trying to keep up with a lot of the things that, she may have done. Yes, absolutely. So Mrs. Ross did lose her battle with breast cancer in April of 2010. And so part of our foundation is focused on the breast health of the community. So that's everything from early detection and prevention to supporting those that have been diagnosed and are living in survivorship and beyond for their families as well. And then the other side of the foundation focuses on the youth. So prior to Mrs. Ross running the dealership, she was actually a curriculum consultant and an educator for Dayton Public Schools.
Right.
So everything connected with doing things for the kids and exposing them to things like the arts and just opportunities that may not have otherwise been available to some kids in under-resourced areas. We want to continue that work as well.
Okay. Yes, of course, I knew her during that time frame as the, of course, former teacher coach, union president. I worked with her a lot in terms of doing things in that space, and always glad to have both the work contributions from her and her husband, Bob Ross. Just great people. Okay. So thank you for that. So what got you into doing this work? What did you do before this? And what caused you to continue to do the work that you're doing?
So it's very interesting, and at the time, sometimes you don't really see how you fall into certain spaces.
Okay.
So honestly, it goes back to when I actually lived in Cleveland, and I wasn't working in nonprofit, but I soon realized that I had a heart for it.
Okay.
And so outside of my 9 to 5, I was volunteering doing this and, doing that. And subsequently, a job with American Heart Association brought me from Cleveland back here to Dayton.
Okay.
And so I worked in that nonprofit space for about 11 years or so. And honestly, I was getting ready to make a transition to go to the East Coast where my sister lives. Okay. And in the midst of that, before I could move, Janelle kind of tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this?" And seeing that I have breast cancer in my family, I lost my paternal grandmother to breast cancer. It was an opportunity for me to do something that I was passionate about.
Okay.
So that nonprofit space, being there to help people, giving people the tools that they need or can use to better their lives in whatever space it may be. That's where I have passion for it. Okay.
So let's talk about some of those spaces. And I know, again, I think I mentioned the other night when you were here talking before the city commission, some of the great work and the passion that, of course, Janelle brings, Janelle Ross brings to the table, if you will. You guys have continued to expand some of the services that you provide. And I know initially, of course, we always hear about the things associated with breast cancer. But as you mentioned, you expanded to some of the other areas, now doing some more things in terms of helping address the needs of breast cancer for men, which is rare. But, talk about some of the other kind of things that you do as well.
Well, I think that we are a unique organization in that we have several organizations in our community that will focus on supporting people once they've been diagnosed.
Right.
Nobody was focusing on the front end, the prevention piece, really. And so with that, one of the programs that we have in place is something that we call Say Yes. And it's encouraging women to say yes to getting their mammogram screenings. We work to remove the barriers that keep them from from getting that mammogram screening completed. For some, it's transportation. For some, it's having the insurance or the means to cover the cost of it. The biggest barrier to overcome is fear, and that's the one that's the most challenging for us. Yep. But we can deal with the transportation. We will pick a lady up and take her to her mammogram appointment. We wait for them, and we take them back. We don't just take them and leave them there. So that's one of our programs that we have. The male breast cancer thing is a little bit new for us. We've talked about it for a while. Still figuring out what it looks like in that space where we know we want to include men in what we're already doing for women, because it can definitely apply. So this year when we did our annual golf fundraiser, we had male survivors to speak, and that was the first time that we did that.
I was there, and I heard that. Very impactful.
Oh, yeah, and so we had two. I mean, the great NFL legend Ernie Green was one of our speakers, as well as another gentleman by the name of Kelly King out of New Albany, Ohio, who came down and shared his story with us. And I'll tell you, it's whether we can connect the dots on it or not, we know that it's happening to men too. Now, not as often or in as large of numbers as it is in women, but men need to pay attention too. Yeah,
it's just something that's not spoken about often when you start talking about men being in those spaces. You know, we get probably 99% of the people, when you say something about breast cancer, you know, it's always associated in their mind as something happening to a female.
Absolutely.
So this work.
And the thing about it is that whereas for women, you know, there are preventive measures, there are preventive screenings that you can go and have done. It's not that way for men. I mean, unfortunately, at the point that they think something is wrong is when they get the chance to have a mammogram or an ultrasound done to look at what they're feeling, you know, is going on. So, for example, in Ernie Green's case, he basically said he woke up one morning and just kind of felt his chest, you know, as you're stretching or doing whatever he was doing, and he felt a lump. Just as simple as that, waking up that morning. And so I just would encourage men to just become familiar, you know, with your own chest and breast tissue. You know, self-exam applies to men too. They can do the same things.
Okay. You know, for decades and decades and decades, you know, men have been taught to project this image of strength, this invincible type attitude, and that, you know, nothing's gonna happen to me. Even if I get hurt, I ain't crying. I ain't gonna cry. I can't let nobody see me
still
crying.
Okay.
Yeah, and doing the whole situation, you know. And I know as we've gone through times, and I told people, I was talking earlier about my knee pain when I tore my meniscus, and the time when I stepped off this bus, when I really realized that I need to have knee surgery. Because, I mean, I wanted to cry, but there were too many people around. I looked around, and I can't cry here, you know. But the pain, I was crying inside, trust me. How do we help more and more men get over this macho feeling of strength that we feel compelled to project all the time, even when it will sometimes minimize or prevent us from doing something that's beneficial for self?
You know, that's very similar to what I was saying about women who have that fear factor. You know, that fear of either the testing itself or finding out that something's wrong. That is one of the bigger hurdles to get over. And I'll honestly say I don't necessarily have the answer to that. I mean, I think men just need to realize that, one, they're human.
Okay.
When cut, they bleed. You know,
that's true.
And that there is nothing weak about acknowledging that there's a problem. You know, I would imagine it's tougher to realize that there is something and just ignore it. You know, I live with the adage of, now, would you prefer they say, okay, here's what we could do, or if you had come 3 months ago, 6 months ago, we would have been able to do this, you know. So I just kind of say keep that in the forefront. If something's going on, be honest with yourself. Be honest, because nobody else can do it for you. Nobody else.
Good point. Okay, you guys have to hear that. Okay, so for those who are watching, understand I understand that because the same thing happens in terms of other type of diseases that we have. You know, prostate cancer, getting your checkups, going through all those type of situations, because there are people in your life who care about you. There are people in life who they want to enjoy every ounce of time that they have with you because of the important role that you play in their lives.
Right.
Yeah. So again, we go back to talking about one of your biggest fundraisers that you do in terms of supporting this whole initiative, and you do it through a fun process called golf. Let's talk about that. It's one of I couldn't wait to get to that. That's one of my favorite activities as well. Talk about the growth of the tournament. Every year it seems to be sold out quicker and quicker, and to the point where, you know, of course, Janelle doesn't have to do much in terms of marketing.
Right.
All she had to do is just put the little email out there and the sign up sheet, and it just goes from there. Talk about how much fun it is for you guys to do what you do in that space, and the work that goes along with it, because it's not just all fun. There's a lot of hard work that goes along with it.
Definitely. So I've been with the organization for almost 6 years.
Okay.
And so I started right before COVID. So the first full year, if you will, we did not have a golf outing. So it was the following year. And, you know, I don't know if part of it was even the fact that we didn't have one, you know what I mean? So it was kind of, not that it didn't have good traction, because it had great traction to begin with, but I think also people had an opportunity to miss it because it is really a great time. And I think because we have gotten more ingrained with making sure we push our mission also, with bringing in the different survivors and speakers and caregivers and people, so that they can actually see our work coming to life in a different light. You know, they can see what their support does, and I think that people want to see that their efforts, their support, what they're contributing, is actually working.
Okay.
And I definitely think that has something to do with it. But you're absolutely right. By the time we really don't have to market, and I'm going to knock on wood on that one, but I tell you, by the time we get back to our people who've already and always supported over the past several years,
correct,
the returning ones, by the time all of them say yes, there's very little space for anyone to come in. And I say that because, you know, with golf, like once you get beyond a certain number, it just makes for a long day. Right. So you kind of want to keep your number where it is.
Reasonable.
Keep it reasonable so it continues to be fun, because if it becomes a long day, then I don't know how much fun it continues to be for people. But yeah, we max out. We've sold out for the past several years, and I have people that see me like, how can I get into the golf out? And I'm like, ask me early, so I'll hold a space for you after. To
a certain point in time. I know we did that, the school tournament that I used to run. It was always like filled up. I put the applications out in April, and we filled up by the mid-April or end of April at the max. And the tournament's not until June. But again, it's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem.
I think when you have a great purpose, if you will.
I think so.
So in terms of what we were doing in my tournament that I was able to run for the school system, we gave away $1,000 check to the kids. Actually, to a check. Okay,
that's awesome.
Not sending it someplace else, but $1,000 check, a laptop computer. They got a little jacket, hat, or something along those lines, and then we would keep up with them, because I had my secretary that would call them every quarter, every semester to find out what's up. Because we used to actually give the checks in proportion with the semester, or the quarter, and that got to be a little tedious, because generally once they're there, they have that money, they're going to spend that money, and we were able to get confirmation and approval from the state auditor that we could do it this way. Excuse me. Instead of just giving them a voucher or something along those lines, we're actually able to give them the check as approved again by the state auditor. And that allowed them to take care of some of the expenses as they were going to college, because there's always things that you need to do.
Absolutely.
I know, even though my son was on scholarship going to Howard, we still had to replace the carpet in his room, okay, because It wasn't happening, hadn't been happening for a while. So the things we had to do in those spaces, so the extra a little bit of money here and there, that sort of came in handy. So,
Yeah.
the work that you do, the fun that you have relative to the golf tournament, and I know in previous years they've had connections with the Mercedes-Benz dealerships nationwide that did great things, and also had trips to Hawaii and all those different kind of things in terms of prizes that you win. I mean, just Janelle just does it big time, first class all the way. You know,
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So being a part of something like that, how does it make you feel?
You know, it makes me feel awesome.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. When we started the program, the Say Yes program, COVID was still in play. You know, we didn't want these ladies to miss getting their mammograms because of COVID. You know, the hospitals were very strict, and, you know, some of the things like mammogram screenings kind of went to the wayside for what they were doing inside of the hospitals. So the mobile unit, which we work with Premier Health's mobile unit, was a great way for us to start this program. So I would schedule all these ladies, right? And I would go out and I would go to every mammogram screening that we would have. I still do. And so when these people would come out and they would put a face with the person who helped them get scheduled. I mean, and also remembering that during this time, a lot of people had lost their jobs. So a lot of these ladies did not have insurance coverage. So being able to connect them with programs, or we, the foundation, were helping out directly, they were just so ecstatic. And then when they would meet me in person, it was like they'd always known me. You know what I mean? Like some of these ladies, I mean, it just made you feel good to know that you could help someone who thought they wouldn't be able to get something done, or people who were just like, well, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait until I find another job. I'm going to wait until this, you know what I mean? But we want to, again, pushing that early detection, we want to do what we can do to get them in. So it makes me feel really awesome, though. It does.
Okay. Has to. I appreciate that. So we just got a couple minutes left. And so we think about the great work that you have been doing, and all the people that you've helped, even some of those that you may not see or touch physically, but those who are watching and those who have heard your message, those involved with the wellness walks, those involved in the buying and display of the merchandise.
Yes.
I think I have something in every color. Okay,
Thank you.
and of course, in some things, of course, I put my mayor logo right beside the breast cancer logo as well. So again, to further promote great things that are happening as far as the city is concerned. And I do want to make sure that before we leave, I want to say thank you to you. Thank you to Janelle Ross, not just in the memory of her mother and father and the work that she does in that space, but also every time we find an organization such as yours that goes that extra mile and improves the quality of life for the masses of people that we have as far as our city is concerned, it's a blessing. It goes right with the mission that I have of making Dayton the best place for someone to live, work, play, be educated, raise a family, and grow old. And those are very, very important things as far as any mayor is concerned. If you had to have a wish list, as we go off the air, get ready to take off right here from a very successful show. If you had a wish list, tell me what you would like to have here in the next 35, 40, 50 seconds.
Whoa. If I had a wish list, one of my wish list items would be that we could just eradicate breast cancer.
Okay.
Altogether, just eradicate.
Okay.
Breast cancer and truly all forms of cancer, to be quite honest. Adding to that, I wish that people would take the time to educate themselves more. We have a lot of well-educated people, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to knowing either what foods are good for us, what things we should stay away from, what things may be harmful, or, and even paying attention to our bodies, educating ourselves in that way so that they can make choices that are better for themselves, myself included. I'd love me a good sweet treat, but I can't eat it every day.
Appreciate that. Well, thank you. This has been great. Really do appreciate this. And again, for my listening audience or my viewing audience, thank you so much for watching and tuning in. And of course, you share this with your friends. And once you've had opportunity to take a look at this, I'll let your friends know that we're also on Facebook. We're also on, what else are we on? I think we're also on the www.daytonohio.gov and all those other social media outlets that we have as far as the city of Dayton is concerned. Thank you.
Can I make one plug before we go? Please. Okay. Just want to make a plug since we're in October and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We want to make sure that we do our due diligence and invite the community out to get screened and to get educated. So we do have the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk coming up on Saturday the 11th. And for the first time ever, we'll be able to do mammogram screenings there. So you can call us to get scheduled. We also have screenings coming on October the 17th, which is National Mammography Day. And we're going to have those screenings at Bob Ross Auto Group. And then we have on the 25th, we have screenings at Revival Center Ministries. So that's an opportunity there. And in between all of that, on October the 18th, we will have our first breast education forum that we're calling B365. That's be empowered, be educated, and be encouraged throughout your breast health 365 days out of the year. It's a free event, and you can get more information at 937-281-4829 or just visit us online at njrmf.org.
Okay. All right.
And it's open for men for the education too. So
they've heard it. Okay. Thank you again. And welcome again. Thank you again.
Thanks
for
having me.
Have a great day. All right.